it's Jay.
And Sean.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, early Christmas.
It is November 25th, 2020. 1 month left to Christmas. And you know what that means, Sean?
Christmas movies?
Yes, that's right. The Christmas Chronicles 2 came out on Netflix today. Is it worth a watch? Heck yes, it is. So we all know and love the first one. Little Katie Pierce and her big brother Teddy had recently suffered the loss of their father, the tragic loss of their father. It had been a tough year. Christmas just wasn't the same without him, of course. Their mom is working an overnight shift at the hospital. And they end up setting a trap to try to catch Santa on video. Ooh.
Which I heard was impossible as a kid.
Oh, yeah?
I was told he won't show up in a picture. I mean, it was photos because I didn't have a video camera. But I did have that idea.
Okay.
My parents shot it down.
Oh.
And I now know why.
Yeah, well, I mean, crazy things happen when you go that far out of your comfort zone. The crazy thing in this case is that Katie and Teddy wind up in the sleigh. The sleigh then crashes like 1,000 miles away from their home before it's discovered that they are stowaways. And then they have to have this whole crazy adventure with Santa Claus to get back home. So, you know, crazy stuff happens. Santa goes to jail. It's a night to remember. Yeah. And Katie gets the whole thing on tape, guys. She's more prepared than this guy. Yeah. Her mother never told her she couldn't do it, so she did.
That's the difference, I guess.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a great movie. Kurt Russell, of course, plays Hot Santa in this movie. And it's just kind of wonderful, holiday, warm. It has its own holiday spirit to it that you really have to admire. And oh, you could try to resist, but it's gonna worm its way in. It's kind of irresistible. So we're so glad to hear that the sequel was planned for this year. The other one came out in 2018, so we're happy to have this here in 2020. We certainly could use some cheer me up movies, and I think this is one. Is it as good as the first? Well, they rarely are. It's hard to recapture the magic. And I think this one does kind of go in a bit of a different direction in that the first one had just this sort of natural charm to it because kids have discovered Santa. They actually did the thing that Sean's parents told him couldn't be done. And not only that, they are in the sleigh, the reindeer are flying. It's an incredible thing. Katie goes down the sack of presents. That's a never-ending tunnel that takes her right to the North Pole. It's an exciting night filled with Jailhouse Rock, of course, and elves and cookies, lots of cookies around the world. And Kurt Russell, Hot Santa, dispels some myths about how he's been portrayed over the years. Anyways, so here we are 2 years later. The Pierce family is in Mexico for Christmas. What? That's weird. We've been in Mexico for Christmas.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Also 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's probably where we were when we watched the first Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah, it could have
been. So it is very nice, but Katie is not impressed. She wants her traditional white Christmas, drinking cocoa by the fire. Palm trees were not in her Christmas plans. But there's something a little worse about this vacation in that it is come courtesy of Mom's new boyfriend, Bob. Oh, that's a bit contentious because, of course, Katie is afraid that her dead father is about to be replaced by Bob, and so she's feeling a bit antagonistic towards this whole relationship. So her last-minute Christmas wish is to no longer be there. But she's a little bit older now. She's a tween, so she's more proactive, and she just decides to head to the airport and get a flight out. But on her way, she meets the airport shuttle, which, honey, you're not getting to the airport in a golf cart, okay? Problem number one. The person driving the golf cart is actually a fallen elf. Oh my gosh, so Belsnickel is his name. Try to remember that name, Belsnickel. It falls right off the tongue. He was an elf in Santa's workshop many years ago, but he broke all the elf rules and got tossed out. So now he's human and he's mad about it. So he's trying to find his way back in. And he does that by kidnapping Katie, and Katie's not a stepbrother yet, but it's a little guy named Jack who is tagging along, Bob's son, Jack. So the two of them wind up in the North Pole. And so while we're very glad to see Santa again and Mrs. Claus, who is played by Kurt Russell's real life partner of many years, Goldie Hawn, she was in the first one, but it was a cameo and it was just kind of like a really feel-good way to end the movie. Whereas this one, she is legit Mrs. Clausing it up big time. She's not just sitting in the corner knitting. She runs this place basically between you and me. And
no surprise.
No, exactly, right? So, yeah, it's kind of marvelous. Katie and Jack have a lot of work to do to help Santa save Christmas because this Belsnickel is just heck bent on ruining everything for everyone else. If he can't be happy, then neither will anyone else.
Sounds familiar.
Oh, well, okay, fair enough. So Darby Camp is back, of course, as Kate. Everyone is back, which is great to see. Jahzir Bruno is Jack, so he's new. As is Julian Dennison as Belsnickel. So that's Ricky Baker from Hunt for the Wilder People, who we love. Yeah. We love to pieces. He is also older. Everybody's getting older on us. How did this happen?
How is this happening?
Yeah. And of course you remember that Kimberly Williams-Paisley, Mrs. Paisley, is the mom in this. It's so funny to see her because she is the queen of Hallmark movies, Christmas movies. So she's just making Christmas movies year-round across all platforms now. She's just the Christmas lady. So this movie has a little bit more razzle-dazzle than the first one. There's some, a little bit bigger set pieces, a little more CG. There's an epic Nerf gun fight. And I legit just combed through every toy store looking for this like Nerf crossbow. And I think it doesn't really exist. It's
probably too dangerous.
Oh no, they have some. They have plenty of them.
Oh.
But I didn't find this particular one. So I guess Nerf didn't pony up the cash. But what kid is not going to be thrilled by a big Nerf gun fight in the North Pole? But there's lots besides that. There are gingerbread men who explode. There's jackotes. They're like jackals, coyote, hybrid reindeer replacement, so they fly. But they're huge and they look like severely inbred pugs. There's just a ton of stuff that kids are, of course, going to love. And Kurt Russell manages to get another musical number in there, so that's great. He really, I think, injects a little bit of Elvis into his Santa. It's a little bit of a cool Santa take. And obviously Goldie's Mrs. Claus is also a really lovely and a more proactive, independent Mrs. Claus than we've been used to historically. So she is tending the injured reindeer at home at the North Pole, and she's got Jack having, huge adventures trying to get the cure for all of this and try to save the North Pole from elves who have been turned evil. And they're troublesome, let me tell you. Meanwhile, Kate and Santa are off base because there's a whole time travel issue going on. Guys, they've really upped the ante for number 2. It keeps you busy. It's a brisk little movie. Directed by Chris Columbus, who, if you go back to the late 80s and early 90s, he has a ton of bona fides, like Adventures in Babysitting, Home Alone, Sean's favorite Christmas movie, Mrs. Doubtfire. Even like this century, he's done Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. However, his most recent movie was Pixels.
Oh.
So that was 5 years ago, and I don't know that that's been long enough for people to forgive and forget. But it is on Netflix. Netflix love Adam Sandler, so I guess they're ready to re-embrace Chris Columbus back into the fold. And I don't think he ruined the franchise. I think it is not as sort of like warm-hearted as the first one, but I quite enjoyed it. It's definitely lively. Kids are going to have a lot of fun watching it. They're all going to want that Nerf thing though, so just be prepared for that. That's a bit of a problem if it's not really in toy stores. But yeah, I had a fun time watching this, I have to say. I will take Hot Santa any day of the week. Whew, that Kurt Russell. He's
Still
really,
got it, eh?
yeah, well, I think he has it more now than ever, to be honest. I mean, I love a silver fox.
That's true, you do.
I do. Yeah, he's lovely, but it's so really, really lovely to see him and Goldie together. They're so cute. It's just kind of a nice movie. It's definitely a nice family-friendly movie. And yeah, it makes us all believers. And that's sort of a nice feeling to be carrying around during the holidays.
Sure it is.
Yeah. So it is on Netflix now as of November 25th. That's just one little month left until Christmas. Try not to panic.
So get shopping for those Nerf crossbows.
That's right. You might want to get a jump before everyone sees this on the weekend. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.